Hey guys, Tony here. So we just had our annual neighborhood chili cook-off, and can you believe it? We won. There were 7 contestants this year and about 20 tasters all in all. We do this every year in our neighborhood, and even people that don't live here anymore will still come back every year to participate in this, and it's just a ton of fun, a great way to meet your neighbors and eat some great food. And this year I wanted to try out the Down South Smoke Texas Chili Seasoning Kit. These guys are legit and they make some awesome spices. Their candied jalapenos I am a rabid fan of. So I made this year's championship chili exactly according to their recipe with one minor substitution, but the recipe is pretty straightforward. So let's jump in. I'm going to show you exactly how I did it, and at the end you get to see what our first place prize was. So come check this out. So first I start out by chopping the veggies, 1 whole onion and 1 each green and red bell pepper. You could go all green or all red here if you like, or even a yellow if you are feeling fancy. Next, we started cubing the roast. Now, this is Angus chuck roast, but you could do a bottom round roast as well. You'll need 2 pounds of meat once it is trimmed and cubed. And I went for slightly smaller than 1-inch pieces. You don't want them too big, so they'll be extra tender and not take up too much spoon real estate while you're trying to eat this. And the last little piece of prep work here is just to chop 1 pound of bacon into small pieces. Now this was some cheap bacon. It had about 1 inch of pure fat at the end of the strip, so I discarded that. So it's probably not exactly 1 pound, but pretty close. Now we start browning the meat. You want to start with the roast pieces first, and it's important to keep the heat high. Don't put too much in at one time or you risk too much moisture in the pan. And then you just boil the meat instead of browning it, which looks gross and it doesn't taste good either. Then we browned the ground beef. 2 pounds is needed for this, and I think I used 90-10 here, but you can use whatever you want. Just be sure to drain it well when you're finished browning it off. Now keep in mind, I have not added any seasonings or even salt yet to any of the meat, so we'll do all of that at once from the seasoning kit at the end. Finally, I'm frying off the bacon. Same pan, I only used 1 pan and the crock pot to make this chili, which is awesome. So once that bacon's done cooking, I pulled out all the solids and immediately go in with the diced veggies. Using the bacon fat for this step actually adds a whole additional level of flavor complexity here. And if you find that you have too much bacon fat in the pan after cooking the veggies, you could always strain it out. But in this case, I kept the bacon fat for the chili because I am a Texan and we don't care about calories, only flavor. You want to cook the veggies until the onions are just starting to get a little clear around the edges, and then we are ready to get this going. I got 2 cans of crushed tomatoes here, as well as 3 different types of beans, which we will add in the last hour of cooking. Starting with the tomatoes, dump those in and then add all the rest of your cooked ingredients plus a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, and the recipe calls for 1 beer. This was the substitution I made because I didn't actually have a beer in the house right then, so I added 12 ounces of beef stock instead. Finally, the seasoning packet. This chili seasoning kit is amazing. I did not need to add any other seasonings at all, and it was so well balanced, super beefy. The bay adds a lot, and it has just the right amount of spice to kind of wake up your taste buds but not burn your mouth out. It's not what I would consider spicy at all, but the seasonings are so well put together. This is my go-to chili mix from now on. Now, as I said, this makes a lot of chili, so if you didn't want to make this much at one time, you could easily cut the recipe in half and just do 2 pounds of ground beef or just 2 pounds of the roast, then use half the seasoning packet and 1 of the 2 bay leaves. Then you have enough to make chili twice. Finally, we put the lid on, turn the crock pot to low, and let it go for 3.5 hours. Now the total cook time on this is 4.5 hours, so I added the beans in the last hour of cooking. I personally love beans in my chili, but it is optional if you're one of those people that likes to eat your chili with Fritos mixed in it. I'm a bit more of a chili purist, so I like a good, hearty, chunky chili that doesn't really need anything else. And would you look at that deliciousness? I wish you guys could smell that. It is so stinking good. Now the final secret to this fantastic chili is I actually made it the day before. It took about 3 hours to cool off completely, and then I just put it in the refrigerator overnight, put it back in the crock pot for 2 hours on low before the cook-off started. It's great fresh as well, don't get me wrong, but somehow chili is always better the next day for some reason. So I wanted every edge I could get in this cooking competition, so that's what I did. So once it was ready, it was time for the walkout. I was confident, but not cocky, nervous, but ready. And the competition was fierce. Like I said, there were 7 contestants this year in total, and a couple of them were pretty good, I must say. But in the end, we won the whole dang thing. I wish I got the announcement on camera, but I did win first prize. You ready to see the first prize? Here it is. Ta-da! Chili Cook-Off Championship apron. How's it look? Looks nice, right? So they've always done an apron every year and usually sign it and then pass it on to the next year's winner. Second place prize is a wooden spoon, and they do the same thing. You sign the wooden spoon, give it to the next person. But the people that won last year have since moved, and they took the apron with them. So this is a brand new apron, and I get to be the first one to sign it. But all in all, it was an awesome time. And if you are a lover of chili or consider yourself a chili aficionado, I promise you will not regret trying this chili kit. Go over to their website right now and give it a try for yourself. I'll put a link in the description of this video also. And yeah, that's it, man. So go check that out, get some for yourself, and let me know if you try to make it. I promise you won't be disappointed. But that's it for me today, guys. Thanks for watching. God bless. Have a great day. Peace.